This is a message for President Donald Trump, and I personally believe that if person, uh, especially a great leader, wants to be remembered by its nation, by whole world, he needs to create huge impact in history. So it could be like, for example, people like Einstein. We can always remember them. It's not necessarily even a president. People like Martin Luther King. We name streets after him. We even have national holiday. Not every president that we had of the United States, we have national holiday. Now, there is some presidents like George Washington that we name streets, cities, states after those people. Abraham Lincoln, also one of the greatest leaders. And when they create an impact, it's going to be remembered by centuries, and um, people always going to remember. And some of them, not every president, obviously, we can have national holiday, but people can always remember, not only when it has its term of 4 or 8 years in office. Now, uh, the impact, I mean, it has to be big change. I'm not gonna able to say something like out of my head, but for example, um, if we have 50 states right now, if there is a country that wants to be part of America, let's say small country, and most of the people they ready to be part of America, and their leaders, and if America government is also can approve it or agree to some kind of add in another state. I think it should be something considered and make another country part of America, and we'll have 51 states. But just an example. And as far as it's something that we can always remember, like we remember and always Steve Jobs. It's already been almost like 10 years, and everybody talking about Steve Jobs. We read his books. We're always gonna remember this name, and it should be something really that big that changes, that is going to change other people's lives, especially global and not just in its country. Now, before I end this video, I'm going to also touch one of the we can say economical concern or question about the country. I'm talking about right now United States. Now, we have, as we can see, Pareto rules works perfectly as they have been described. Like we have 80% of American presidents, barely any student in a high school remembering his names. Even if they taught and they studied, it's still and 20% everybody can say Washington. You can see on the dollar bills some of their faces, and holidays and cities and states. Now, as far as we have our 50 states, probably 20% of those states, they you can say like main states that play main role in the American economy and in industry, and like New York State. I mean, is one of the major economical. If it's like it's even like global, all this Wall Street and kind of country probably even depends on those states or California. It could be Miami, Florida. Those are states that play one of the main role. But what about Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama? We barely hear anything about those states. What's going on in those states? Why they don't play this big game? Why we wouldn't open borders for any country that anybody could visit those states and they don't require any visa? Now, obviously, we have to secure the borders. It has to be. They cannot they can only travel between those 5 states, let's say. And if they want to travel to New York, they're gonna require different visa. I don't think it should be American visa because Alabama and Mississippi, it's also part of America. Maybe visa, let's say New York visa, something like that, if person wants to visit, or tri-state area. Now, if we open those states and we create something like we can easily have a lot of travelers who's going to travel from all over the world if it's easy to, if they don't need visa, and if the ticket should be also shouldn't be that expensive. It should be comparatively to if you travel from let's say within Europe. If you travel from England to France, maybe $100 more, you can travel. I mean, it shouldn't be that much expensive, and you can travel to Montana or Missouri or Mississippi. And we're gonna have more people who obviously is gonna be more money will come to the economy of those states, and they can invest, open maybe some nice resorts in those states, or create something that people really wanna come and visit them. And I think it's gonna change this economical all this economy of those states, because nobody, I mean, me, I live in United States probably like 20 years. I never been in Montana or Mississippi. I passed by, maybe I drove by, but or Missouri, but I never really visit certain places and just went to for vacation or something. So it should be something that we can consider. We open those borders, you secure them, you put strict and very, it should be obviously something like person travels to another country. If he goes from Missouri, if he travels to New York without any visa, it should be really like big fine, or like border control. I understand that, but it's just a tip that we can consider something in picking up the economy and make all the states better, not just some certain states that where people wants to live. Everybody wants to be in California, even if it's highest taxes, or in New York, but nobody wants to live in Mississippi. All right, so see you next video.